lovely listeners, welcome to Radio Waves, the podcast where we embark on a journey through the captivating world of audio. I'm your host Nikita, but you can call me Anika. Whether you're tuning in during your morning commute, hitting the gym, or just chilling at home, I'm thrilled you've joined us. Radio Waves is your go-to destination for insightful conversations and fascinating stories. Make sure to hit the subscription button so you never miss an episode. And hey, if you enjoy what you hear, a 5-star rating and a little review can go a long way in supporting the show. Thanks for being a part of the Radio Waves community. You won't believe what I just learned about the history of radio. It's such a fascinating journey from being a fantasy before the 19th century to becoming an integral part of our lives today. So, before the late 80s, the idea of wireless radio communication was just a dream. But then in 1893, Nikola Tesla blew minds by demonstrating a wireless radio in St. Louis, Missouri. However, here's where it gets interesting. Guglielmo Marconi is often credited as the father of radio. He even got the first wireless telegraphy patent in India in 1896. Now the plot thickens because Tesla, not wanting to be outdone, filed for radio-related patents in the US in 1990s, and they were granted. It's like a race between these inventors, but Marconi secured his place in history on December 12, 1901 by being the first person to transmit signals across the Atlantic Ocean. That's a game changer. Can you imagine how revolutionary that must have been? It took a bit of time, but eventually, radios became mainstream and found a place in every household. Now here we are, where radio is such a common part of our daily lives, and it all started with these inventors making their mark in history. Before the roaring 20s and the radio becoming a household name, it was mainly used to communicate with ships at sea. It was a game changer, especially during emergencies, as Morse code messages were sent to vessels proving invaluable. Now, when World War I came around, radio's importance skyrocketed. The military practically exclusively used it, becoming a crucial tool for sending and receiving messages to the armed forces. Fast forward to the 1920s, post-war and radios started gaining popularity among civilians. In the US and Europe, broadcasting stations like KDKA in Pittsburgh and the British Broadcasting Company BBC in England started emerging. KDKA became the first radio station officially licensed by the government after Westinghouse received a commercial radio license in 1920. They even began advertising to radios to the public. Interestingly, home-built radio receivers became a bit of an issue for manufacturers, leading to the government's intervention with the Radio Corporation Agreements, or the RCA. Under RCA, specific companies were allowed to make receivers, while others were approved for transmitters. Only AT&T had the rights to toll and chain broadcast. They even released the first radio advertisement in 1923. To counter this monopoly, CBS and NBC were created in the later 20s. In Britain, the BBC kicked off radio broadcasts in 1922, quickly spreading across the UK. It struggled to surpass newspapers until 1926, when newspapers went on strike. That strike made radio, especially the BBC, the primary source of information for the public. And get this, it became a family entertainment staple. Gathering in front of the radio as a family became a common occurrence in many households in both the US and the UK. Radio has had a fascinating role during World War II and how it evolved afterwards. You won't believe how crucial radio was during the war, and not just for relying news but as a rallying source. In the UK, it became the primary source of information after they shut down the television stations. What's interesting is how radios changed post-World War II. Where it used to be about serial programs for entertainment, it gradually shifted towards playing music, especially for popular tunes of the time. Ever heard of the Top 40 format? It became a huge thing, and the audience shifted from families to preteens and adults up to their mid-30s. Music and radio became almost synonymous, creating a cultural phenomenon. And guess what? FM radio stations started taking over the original AM stations, bringing a whole new audio experience. This shift also paved the way for the emergence of new music genres like rock and roll. It's incredible how radio not only played a significant role during wartime but also shaped the post war cultural landscape. Speaking of radio broadcasting, did you know that in India, radio broadcasting started as early as 1927? It began with private radio clubs in Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras in 1923 and 1924, and radio broadcasting in India began as a private business. In fact, India's first radio program was broadcasted by the Radio Club in June 1923, featuring music and discussions for a few hours each day. However, due to financial challenges, these private radio clubs had to shut down in 1927. But here's the twist: the government stepped in and took over the assets, establishing the Indian Broadcasting Service, that is the IBS, under the Department of Labour and Industries. This move came after significant public protest over the closure of private stations. In 1936, a radio station was set up in Delhi and the Indian Broadcasting Service got a makeover, becoming All India Radio, or the AIR. They even introduced a new trademark melody. The Delhi station became the hub of national broadcasting, marking the beginning of a new era for radio in India. Fast forward to India gaining independence, and the AIR network had 6 stations with 18 transmitters, covering cities like Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, Lucknow, and Tiruchirappalli. Interestingly, radio transmission on the medium wave was initially limited to the urban elite of these cities. During World War II, the role of radio became even more crucial. By 1939, shortwave communication had reached every corner of the country, and the programming structure had shifted to accommodate wartime needs. News and political commentaries took the forefront, along with special broadcasts for those living near the northeastern and northwestern borders. Now get this, they've come a long way with a whopping 198 broadcasting centers, including 74 local radio stations. That means they cover more than 97.3% of the country's population. Can you imagine the reach and impact they have? What's really striking is how AIR operates 24/7, never taking a break. It's like a constant companion for people, providing news, entertainment, and information in a variety of languages around the clock. They've become one of the rare news organizations that never stop, working tirelessly 7 days a week. And it's not just about the domestic front. AIR's External Service Division is pretty cool. They connect with the rest of the world through programs broadcast in up to 24 languages. Significant global reach, running 24 hours a day. It's like India's voice echoing beyond its borders. These broadcasting centers are like powerhouses, equipped with medium wave, short wave, and FM transmission networks. They have truly embraced technology and adapted to the changing times. From a wartime necessity to a constant presence in our lives, AIR has carved out a unique and crucial role in the media landscape. It's fascinating to see how the radio has woven itself into the fabric of our history. And there you have it, the incredible evolution of radio from a merry fantasy in the 19th century to a global phenomenon that connects us all. It's wild how far radios have come, right? Anyways, hope you enjoyed this radio journey through time. Stay tuned for more sonic adventures on radio waves. I'm Anika, signing off. Until next time, keep those waves flowing.